Welcome to the front.
Good evening. Fall is approaching and is one of my favorite times of the year. I love crisp mornings, colorful leaves, and Eagles football. I even celebrate my wedding anniversary to my wonderful husband in the fall, as well as the birth of our eldest daughter. Unfortunately for our family, we have a new anniversary this coming October. It hasn't even been a year since October 23rd, 2017, the day that my brother Alex Howell was discovered dead from an overdose of a lethal mix of heroin and synthetic opioids. My name is Carly Nagel. I volunteer for Proact, and I'm grateful and enormously honored to be here today in remembrance of my brother and some of your loved ones in all of your company. People who knew Alex during his 34 years of life remember his kind old soul. He was a hippie and a socialist who cared about helping others. Alex was famous for always talking about peace, love, and happiness. Alex had a love of music. Some of his favorites were Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, and David Bowie. Alex was a sports enthusiast, especially for Philly area teams, both college and professional level. When Alex got, I can't believe Alex wasn't here to see the Eagles win the Super Bowl. When he got excited, especially watching a sporting event, he would throw up his hands and shout. Alex was my brother, a son, an uncle, a nephew, a grandson, and a friend. Alex meant so much to so many people. At 6'5" tall, he was a gentle giant. He would more often than not be seen with a bandana wrapped around his ever-changing hairstyles. He naturally flattered and complimented his family and friends, and he had an knack for making the people he loved feel great about themselves. Alex thought about others often. He was a very thoughtful gift giver. Alex achieved many things in his 34 years with us. He was an excellent basketball player, an avid reader, and philosopher, and he always kept up with current events and politics. Alex earned his bachelor's degree in sociology from Westchester University and followed that with shadowing our stepfather in learning much about general contracting and carpentry. Alex did not sit on the sidelines of life. I have so many memories of Alex. When you grow up with someone as your only sibling, you kind of expect they're always going to be there. I'll remember the way Alex greeted me. Hey, sis. As children, we spent all of our time playing together, making sofa cushion forts and eating junk food on rainy summer days, building igloos and sledding down hills when school was canceled for snow, riding bikes endlessly before dinner and protesting bath time after dinner, having wild flashlight parties in our room, and screeching up a storm in the small rancher where we grew up with our bedrooms right next to each other. I could always count on Alex. When I lived in my very first apartment, thank you, I was so excited that I got a deal on a TV at Best Buy. I'm a purchasing manager, so I like deals. It wasn't until I got it home in my car that I realized I had no plan to get up the 3-story apartment in the old home where I lived. I called Alex and he was there in minutes. He showed up barefoot. I didn't ask him where his shoes were, and he didn't ask me on how I figured on getting the TV upstairs alone. We just helped each other. I can't pinpoint exactly when Alex began using illegal drugs. He didn't really advertise it with the family. Alex decided to move in with my dad during the latter part of my dad's life to help care for him as he suffered from several ailments. Alex began drinking in his 20s and he occasionally used marijuana. At one point, Alex had a car accident and sustained a back injury. He was prescribed Opana, a prescription opioid pill for his back pain after the accident. This was certainly a turning point towards a downhill spiral into Alex shooting heroin. For me, Alex's drug use is still not how he's defined, but rather something that he chose and something that he did. But this choice that Alex made took a hold of him. It eventually eclipsed his willpower and took control of his life. When I tell my 3-year-old daughter why her uncle isn't here anymore, I tell her it's because of the choices that he made about his body. It's simple for her to understand that. The fact is, the first use of drugs like heroin may indeed be a choice. But after that, the suffering begins. At least I know it did for my brother. Alex changed tremendously during the time that he was suffering from substance abuse disorder and addicted to drugs. He began lying and stealing. He was withdrawn and distant. When we did see him, he tried to pretend everything was okay. Alex was smart and charismatic. He found good jobs with good companies, and then he lost them. He wasted so many good resources. He began cycling. Alex went to jail. Alex's behaviors and habits while he was in active addiction made me feel very angry. I didn't trust him, and he went from being someone whom I could always count on to someone whom I didn't trust at all. He never answered his phone, not even on our deceased father's birthday, when all I wanted was to share some grief with him. Alex never made his commitments for holidays and family gatherings, and I missed him. For several years, when my friends would see me, they'd ask, with trepidation in their voice, "How is Alex?" I put up a barrier. I told my friends sadly but matter-of-factly, "I don't know. I'm waiting for the call that he's dead. My brother's going to die." It may sound cold, but denial is a mechanism for loved ones of people who are addicted to help protect themselves from the lack of control they experience when they want to but cannot find a way to help their loved ones into recovery. I want to encourage you, if you feel this way, to try to move past that shame and denial. Keep putting yourself out there to help your loved one, even if they will not accept your help. You may want their recovery more than they do. Alex wasn't the only person who changed while he was in active addiction. It's hard for a family to navigate through these things: deceit, secrets, worry. The entire family dynamic changed. Holidays were nice when Alex was there. There was always the overarching element of uncertainty about whether or not Alex could come, and if he did, would he be okay? I don't even remember talking to Alex the last time I saw him on Easter of 2017. I began to resent my brother for what his behaviors and decisions were doing to the family. I missed him, and I learned that you can miss someone even when they're right there. I've been told grief is like a circle. It never ends. In this unending circle, I feel many things. Right now, I feel a kinship with each of you here tonight. I have compassion for each and every one of you. I know someone important to you has brought us all together in remembrance. I'm happy to feel connected now, because there are so many times when I feel so very alone. It's been very isolating for me to lose my brother, my only sibling. I feel like I've been robbed. Addiction creates a pull in people. That pull, the pull that the loss of my brother to addiction has created in me, is to help raise awareness, bring compassion and hope to those of you dealing with addiction in your families. I didn't see much of Alex in the years leading up to his death as he struggled with his drug addiction. He was in and out of rehab, and he avoided talking openly with me about his struggles. The last conversation I remember having with my brother was on New Year's Eve 2016, 5 months before my second daughter was born, 5 months before he entered his final round of rehab. My parents have a long-standing tradition of hosting a New Year's Eve party each year. That year, Alex and I were sipping sparkling cider instead of champagne, as he was in recovery and I was pregnant. Everyone was joyful and having a great time when suddenly Alex sprung into action. He explained to me that he had to leave. He had to go help a friend. I immediately felt concern, and a feeling of dread washed over me. Where was he going? What was so important at 12:30 in the morning on New Year's Day? Why did he feel so compelled to leave? Was he looking to score? I told him he should stay. We wanted him there. Alex was not looking to leave to buy drugs. He was part of a 12-step program, and he was notified that someone he knew needed help to stay clean that night. He was ready to spring into action. I spent a lot of energy diagnosing the situation with him. Alex was so quick to help, his same old self. He explained to me that he had goals of starting a business to find a way to help people find their way on the other side of addiction. I was so proud of Alex. I could see the joy outweighing the pain in his eyes for the first time in a long time. I was also concerned. Conditioned to worry from years of seeing his self-destructive behavior, I told my brother, I don't think you should be the first one rushing to the scene of drugs to help someone. I think you're still too close to this lifestyle. I later learned from his house manager at the recovery home where he lived before his death that the program encourages and requires participants to do exactly that, to serve. That is what has brought me to Proact. My brother didn't want to die. He wanted his life to have meaning, and he wanted to help people. And that is what I'm here to do. I'm here to carry on Alex's mission of helping people. Addiction is a big issue, and we need a lot of help to fight this epidemic. Work to free yourself of any shame you may be feeling so that you can share your experience with others. I hope that my doing the same has been helpful for you this evening.